Hello, this is Mitch Goldberg. Where do stocks go from here? Are stocks up too much, too fast? We've been talking about that. It is the hottest topic when it comes to financials. Of course, the stock market is always at the center of it. It's uh, it's something it's something that we pay close attention to. So, where do we go from here? Can the stock market keep going higher? There are a few things to take a look at, and we're gonna just dive right in. So, how's everybody doing out there today? Everybody good? I hope everybody's having a good day. I have to tell you, I know we're pandemic and social distancing and not being able to go to the office, but the days are flying by for me. I don't know about you, but these days are just flying by. Darn, I mean, when this live stream comes up at 4:30, I am like, how the heck did it get to be 4:30 already? And how the heck did it get to be Thursday already? So this just some random thoughts. You know what? Another random thought is I ran out of creamer for my coffee, and using this powdered creamer, and it's quite disgusting. So just wanted to improve the screen. So hope you're having some good coffee today. Okay. We've got a couple of things to discuss. So the two big questions are, where does the stock market go from here? And even if the second question is, if the economy recovers, it's not going to be as good as it was before. So why should stocks be back up to where they were before? Let's roll the intro, and we're going to dive right into this. So here we go. Okay, and we're back. Thank you very much for watching my live stream. I do this every day from now going through October. It'll be Monday through Thursday. I was doing these Monday through Friday, but I just felt like Fridays, the summer's here, the weather's nice, and I understand. Listen, I get it. You have better things to do than watch me on a Friday afternoon in the summer. Unless something major happens, crazy day in the market or the economy or some major news, I'll be skipping out on Fridays. I do send out, though, a weekly newsletter. It's very unique. It's unlike anything you'll read anywhere else. And I send that out every Friday. So it kind of gives me some leeway to do the live stream at 4:30 Monday through Thursday, and then the blast email every Friday. The blast email, by the way, that's what really built up my following and my clientele and my social media presence. The blast email is what did it. I have thousands of people on it, and that is like the centerpiece of what I do. I know the video and the live streams have kind of taken over, but right now I'm enjoying these, and I love doing them. So it's just it's my pleasure, and I love teaching, and I'm a financial advisor. I just had my 30th anniversary in the industry. And I've learned a lot. It's just I've seen a lot, learned a lot. I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen the best and worst in people, and luckily I've seen more of the best of people than the worst. How about that? So if we haven't met yet, I am Mitch Goldberg. Hey, I'm just a regular guy, but I've been doing this for 30 years. A contributor to CNBC.com. I've written probably over 100 published articles for CNBC. And as you can tell by now, I like to create a lot of content, written, verbal. I've recently gotten into Instagram too, by the way. So you can connect with me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is InstaMitchG, InstaMitchG. I'm really enjoying that. Just something happy and fun about Instagram that I used to get that from Twitter like 10 years ago, but Twitter maybe 8 years ago. Twitter for me though doesn't really do it for me anymore. Does Twitter still do it for you? I feel like Twitter is like changing the channel on a TV. You could have like 500 channels on TV, and you just take your remote and go click, click, click. So you watch every channel, but just for like not even a second. And it just kind of scrolls by and you realize you just wasted like a half an hour for nothing. So that's how I feel about Twitter. So let's talk about the market. By the way, if you have any questions, words of encouragement, that's what the comments are for. I love the dialogue. I'd love to interact with you and answer your questions. Welcome to you if you're watching this in the replay. Hit me up there too with any questions. As if you were watching this in the live stream. I realize a lot of people can't just watch this only at 4:30, and that's why we do have the replay. I know a few of you out there, and I will get to everybody out there. Thank you. And I see Michelle is out there. Hey, that's not good for you. You know it. The powdered creamer it's just disgusting. It's like, I don't drink coffee black either. I like a lot of half and half. I don't use sugar in my coffee, just the creamer. But the creamer just gives like a nice, sweet, delicious taste. I have to go to Dunkin' Donuts like right after this. I'm getting an iced coffee immediately following the show. Them, I'm going to come back home, get one of my kids, and do a nice long bike ride after this. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about the market. If you watch the show, I always do my do a quick update so we know what we're talking about. Give us a basis to work around. Give us some background. Okay, so let's just take a quick look. The Dow continuing its winning days, barely up, only 0.05%, but up is up, barely up. The S&P was down, the Nasdaq was down. Small caps, let's call them flat. Okay, and the VIX was barely up today. I don't look. You know what? I love today. I like days like today when there's just nothing going on. It was a pretty boring day in the market. Everything's kind of flat. Good. We need these days sometimes. Listen, yesterday the Dow was up over 500 points. So I'm just happy we didn't go down like 300 and give a lot of it back. Okay, that's what makes me happy about today's market performance. But the Dow was up. The rest of the major averages were off a little. The VIX is green. That's up, but that usually goes up when the S&P drops a little bit. It's not a stock average. It's called a fear gauge. We'll talk about that another time. But just real quick, I'll show you why the Dow is up a little bit. It was all because of one stock called Boeing. But here's the Nasdaq 100. It hit a new all-time high today. Didn't close there, but intraday it hit a new record. So we do have a major benchmark average hitting an all-time high today. This is the biggest 100 non-financial companies in the Nasdaq. We typically know this as the ETF symbol, the Qs, QQQ. So that has big, tech stocks from the Nasdaq, biotech stocks. So new record high. At least something's hitting record highs today. By the way, the averages are only down like, I think the S&P is off a little bit more than 3% year to date. After all is said and done, if I told you 2.5 months ago, that, today, June 4th, the S&P would only be down 3% on the year, you would have laughed at me. And I said to you, I did say in the show, March 24th, March 23rd was the bottom. I came on March 24th and I said, bottom in March 23rd. I'm proud of that. So that's why I bring it up. Okay. Not bragging, just, I'm proud of it. Okay. It's just a good article I was reading. Let's take a quick look over here. The market movers. Remember what I said to you? Let's take a look. Why was the Dow up and the S&P and Nasdaq down? Well, first of all, here are the top movers, the top gainers in the S&P 500. I don't know if you could see this on your small smartphone screen, but I'll tell you, American Airlines was up 41% today. 41% for a big company like that. That is a staggeringly huge move. Granted, these stocks are moving from low levels and they've been beaten up a lot, so they're having a pretty fast recovery. But United up 16%, Delta up 13%, Nordstrom up almost 10%, Norwegian Cruise up over almost 9%. Okay, and you see Boeing down here up over 6%. So just take a look at this. Let's see if the screen will be fast enough to do this. These computers work a little slower when you're live streaming, I've noticed. But If it doesn't come up in a second, that's okay. Oh, here it is. It's up. It's up. Here's what I wanted to show you. You see Boeing. Now you look at the top gainers in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Boeing up 6.5%. So if you stripped out Boeing, the Dow would have been in negative territory on the day, even with travelers up. Dow Chemical, JP Morgan up, nice day for the financials. Decliners, you see Nike was off 2.7%. Okay. Procter, Visa, Microsoft, J&J, Walmart was off, Home Depot, Merck. Some of these, it looked tough day for drug stocks and some of the big tech stocks. So let's take a look at that while we're on it. Let's see if we have the FANG stocks. Yeah, I know it takes a second to come up, but such as the thing. Sometimes they come up lickety split, sometimes they don't. But what I'm showing here are the FANG M stocks. So Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, okay, Netflix, and Microsoft. So these are the big stock here. We've got a little advertisement up here from Bob's Furniture. Okay, so these are the big FANG M stocks. The M is for Microsoft. These stocks are they're close to about 28%, 29% of the entire S&P 500. So when these stocks move in one direction or the other, they tend to pull the rest of the market with them. Here we go. Facebook down 1.6%, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Alphabet, which used to be called Google. Okay, the Google search engine is still called Google, but there's more to the company than just a search engine, so they call it Alphabet. Microsoft down. So you see these stocks, they're all down. A lot of these are also in the category of the work from home or the Corona stocks. So they were all down. So given that they were all down, I'm actually pretty impressed with how well the major averages held up. And I'll show you why they held up. And that's because financials are a pretty big part of the economy, in which financials are up, industrials, building materials are up, energy, not so much, but it's good to see it. But if I always say that when you see financials, industrials, and energy up, that's continuing the theme of the V-shape recovery. So that's why it's so important to see those up. And at the losing sectors, healthcare, utilities, real estate was off, communication. So the right places were up, but overall it was a flat day. And let's just take a look at one last chart. If this doesn't come up really fast, it comes up fast. We're moving, we're grooving. We're ahead of schedule today, guys. So I hate when I hit the mouse the wrong way here on the chart. Anyway, if you just take a look at this, okay. Year to date, the Nasdaq 100 year to date is up 11%, S&P off almost 4%. That's a pretty big divergence. So it just goes to show you that money has really gone into the super large mega cap tech stocks. That's where the money's gone to. And if you want to know why, the economy and why the stock market's not reflecting the economy, that's basically why. All right, so we're going to stop the share screen. Where do we go from here? I said yesterday, I think the market has so much momentum built into it over the near term that I think, near term, if that means something to you, I'm pretty optimistic on it. I'm about long term, but I know you guys like the short term prognosis. And being that I am such a nice, affable, giving guy, I'll give you the short term prognosis. In my opinion, I think we still have some upside left over the near term. Hey, if we back off the next day or two, a couple of days, don't calm down. It doesn't mean I'm wrong for a day or two. Just I'm thinking the next couple of weeks, looks like we have a little bit more upside because the S&P continues to trade above its 200 moving day average, and that is a signal that it is safe to get back into the market. And a lot of investors who got out of the market now see the market as a safer bet, and they want to plow that money back into stocks. And you still have a lot of the industrials, which includes the airline stocks that people still want to get into. So I don't really see anything holding us back. That's where I see it. The European Central Bank is doing $1.3 trillion of stimulus of buying bond issuance in Europe. The major averages are up about 45% across the board after their March 23rd low. No China news. There's no nasty between the U.S. and China. No major riot news, a lot of peaceful protests, which we all support. But it seems pretty quiet out there. And that's it. So the next big question out there, hey, Frank, I see you out there. Tell it, Mitch. Damn, man, you got to bring it. You got to bring it. Yo, Michelle is watching from LinkedIn, which is really cool. And Frank is out there in Facebook land. Thank you guys. They're really two of my very, very, very close friends. And by the way, Michelle, thank you for your Instagram tips. Michelle is like a guru when it comes to social media. And if you have any questions about Instagram, Facebook, your content, all that stuff, Michelle Blum of nutrishmish.com. Check out her website. Follow her on Instagram. She's got great content, and she also teaches this stuff on the side. And Frank Maurizio does a video called Tip Tuesday at Maurizio Consulting on Instagram. You could catch him on LinkedIn as well. And he's on Facebook. James, good to see you. James is out here. He's got me on Facebook. James, what time is it by you? James is in Melbourne, Australia, and I really appreciate that. James and I I was a guest on his live stream, and that was a real treat. So thank you for having me. So we've become friends just from LinkedIn. I love that. So if the economy improves, great. Stock market's up. It's almost up to where it was before the whole COVID thing. That's right. The stock market is almost back to where it was. Now, I'm not saying every individual stock is back to where it was. So if you're in individual stocks, there's a good chance you're still licking some wounds. You might not have recovered much. You might have recovered a lot, maybe most of what you've had. But if you're in the ETFs, you're right up there. You're pretty darn close. Now, there are some laggards out there like emerging markets and small caps. All the small caps have been catching up a lot lately. But what if we have the economy reopening? We do have the economy reopening, but not all businesses are going to reopen. A lot of businesses are just never going to reopen. And out of tens of millions of people who lost their job, most of them are going to get their jobs back, but there's still millions of people, maybe 8 million people as much, who will never get their old job back. So how could the stock market recover? Even if the economy recovers, it won't be as good as it was before because of all these people looking for jobs. Well, first of all, we still have the jobless benefits. We still have all the stimulus. Zero interest rates. Fed pumping money into the economy. Congress will probably do more stimulus. And think about, 1 out of 4 people lost their job in this country. So the other 75% still have jobs. And then I look at the mortgage applications. First-time homebuyer mortgage applications are jumping. And what does this mean? It means millennials are buying homes like crazy right now. So we have a very strong housing market. And the difference between people buying a house as opposed to just refinancing their existing mortgages, when you move into a new house, there is spending on decorating, remodeling, kitchen appliances, roofing, siding, windows, all that stuff that goes into it. So there's a big multiplier effect. So the economy could be very good. And eventually these people will be absorbed into the job market. That always happens, but it takes time. Look at the 10% plus unemployment that we had during the Great Recession, and we went down to about 3% unemployment as of a couple of months ago. So it takes time. Is the stock market ahead of itself? So here's the thing: if the stock market is going to really follow the employment figures, and tomorrow is the June non-farm payrolls. Is the May non-farm payrolls. So tomorrow is June 5th. We have the non-farm payrolls for May coming out. Typically the first Friday of the next month is when they come out. And we're expecting to see some kind of improvement, hopefully. So if we get a better number than expected, believe it or not, more jobs created, more people hired, that'll show that the state reopenings is progressing well. If the number is too good, if we get too good of a news flow tomorrow with jobs, believe it or not, that could actually knock the stock market down a little bit temporarily. because then it means a lot of stimulus gets put on hold. Maybe Congress won't dole out another $1,200 per person, and maybe the Fed might not stay as easy as it is with its stimulative monetary policy for as long. But generally speaking, every month we get these jobs numbers, and if if the stock market does get ahead of expectations of the economy, and the economy doesn't live up to what investors expect, then the stock market's going to go back down. Not all the way back down, but if the stock market eventually, the economic news has to catch up to the stock market, and if it doesn't, then we get a bit of a pullback, and that's the way it's going to be. So I really can't tell you for sure, but generally speaking, the stock market plunged before we got into the worst news on the economy. The S&P went down 34% from February to March, fastest ever going from a record into a recession ever. And we've had the fastest bounce out of a recession ever. That's why we call it a V shape. So that's where we see it. And we'll see how the jobs numbers come out tomorrow. We'll see how they come out next month. And we just have to follow these to see if the stock market is overly exuberant or overly optimistic or not. And when it gets too optimistic, we get a pullback, and then expectations are lowered, and we get to build back up again. I think what it's going to be is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's what I'm expecting. Thank you very much, folks. This is my last live stream for the week. I don't do this on Fridays anymore for the summer. I'll be back on Fridays in October, but I'll be here every Monday through Thursday. I'll do this on a Friday. Like I said, if something major comes out, something like, it would have to be like a really bad news for me to get back here on a Friday for the summer. I'll be in, again, I'll do the emails and I'll be around every Friday, but just, sometimes it's nice to take a little pressure off and say, Friday afternoon, I'm leaving at 4:00. I don't do that a lot, but I really want to make a commitment to myself and my family to do that this summer. All right. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.